When I woke up today, I wasn't expecting to see viral TikTok squirrel get seized and euthanized by government officials as a headline on the news, and yet here we are. Where apparently the home of Peanut the squirrel in Pine City, New York was raided by 10 to 12 officers after an anonymous complaint was filed with the Department of Environmental Conservation. Why would you even need this level of police involvement to respond to an anonymous complaint about a rescued squirrel living a good life in someone's home? I don't personally know. So Peanut the squirrel had over 2 million followers on TikTok. This is just like a second account, 500,000 on Instagram, and the videos are mostly about Mark, the pet owner, and his wife just doing pet things with Peanut, you know, just doing cute little stuff like this. So Mark rescued Peanut when he was just a baby 7 years ago after his mom got hit by a car, and thanks to like all the social media following that they managed to get on TikTok, Mark was able to found the Peanut Freedom Farm, which is a non-profit farm animal sanctuary. You know, here's the website. They have a whole excerpt talking about like, hey, this is only possible thanks to the fame and popularity that Peanut got on social media. We're able to do this and help all the animals that are in need. So you can kind of understand why there's such a huge wave of outrage on social media of people demanding justice for Peanut. They're calling this an excessive use of government force. And well, I mean, you know, 10 to 12 officers raiding your home because a hater decided to just randomly call the complaint hotline, that does seem a little excessive. Mark and his wife did an entire interview with TMZ. Just take a look at this.
Learned that they have euthanized Peanut.
And the raccoon as well.
And the raccoon as well.
It not only tears my family apart, but Peanut was the cornerstone of our nonprofit animal rescue. And 10 to 12 DEC officers raided my house as if I was a drug dealer. I was sat outside my house for 5 hours. I had to get a police escort to my bathroom. I wasn't even allowed to feed my rescue horses. Again, Peanut was an indoor squirrel, not harming anybody. He's been with us for 7 years. Not a single complaint was ever filed for this animal.
This just reminded me of a similar incident that happened all the way back in 2016. A dark day for all of us, of course, that sparked a huge amount of backlash and outrage in the community, and that was the killing of Harambe, the gorilla, where a 3-year-old actually just fell into the enclosure at the zoo. Where was the mother of this kid? Nobody knows. Harambe took the kid, dragged it around for a while, before the zoo was unfortunately just forced to shoot and kill the gorilla. And I remember that, you know, for a while, that's all everybody would talk about, the tragedy of Harambe. But in this case, you can even say that it's worse because obviously, you know, with Harambe, it's a 400-pound gorilla with a kid. There's a chance that it might get hurt, but this is, from what I understand, Peanut was an indoor-only squirrel. It didn't have rabies or anything. It had been with a family for over 7 years at this point. You know, technically it is illegal to have a squirrel as a pet in the state of New York, but it's not like he was terrorizing the neighborhood or anything. You know, someone online probably just saw people being happy on social media and they just decided like, nope, being happy, that's unacceptable. Let me just go file an anonymous report. And that's just what happened.
They discriminated against my German wife by asking her immigration status at a search warrant that provided a paragraph stating they were only there for raccoon and a squirrel.
That was all taxpayer funded, by the way. This was a taxpayer funded operation that took place. The weird thing about this, though, is that it's somehow turning into like a political discussion. You know, now you have people taking sides, whether just like supporting the squirrel is like a far-right movement. I don't know. Elon Musk was on social media saying President Trump will save the squirrels, rip Peanut. There's also an official post that I can't confirm whether it's true or not. I just found it on social media. People lie on social media. Mark was taken into custody for hours while officials searched his home and eventually took 2 of their pets, Fred the raccoon and Peanut the squirrel. These animals were later executed by the state of New York. New York authorities, under the terrible governor, put more effort into finding and eliminating a squirrel who was innocent by all accounts than they do to control the unchecked illegal immigrants. Yeah, like I mentioned, people are just using this as political leverage. We've gotten to this point in the whole nonsense that this is what we're doing now. But let's not forget that Fred the raccoon was also taken during the raid and euthanized. Says, despite our passionate outcry for compassion, the agency chose to ignore our pleas, leaving us in deep shock and grief. To add to our anguish, they informed the media of their decision before even notifying Peanut's Freedom Farm, his loving home. This demonstrates a troubling lack of respect and empathy. Their lives are precious, and we refuse to accept this loss in silence. I was going over the laws in New York that mention illegal pets. I couldn't find anything on New York State in general, only NYC, but let's just assume they're like somewhat similar, right? And it talks about illegal pets. So you can report people selling or keeping wild or illegal animals. The Department of Health and Mental Hygiene Hygiene issues violations when appropriate. By law, wild or illegal animals may not be sold or kept as pets. And it says animals allowed as pets. You have domesticated cats and dogs, you have rabbits, horse, gerbil, hamster, guinea pig, chinchilla, and other small animals, and a bunch of birds, non-snapping turtle larger than 4 inches, certain reptiles, and honeybees. Right, those are the ones that you can actually legally have in New York. The illegal ones, though, there's a giant list of them. Most importantly, it mentions squirrels, raccoons, and bats, I'm guessing because of the rabies situation. And then it says, in the case that you do have an illegal pet, you may drop off the animal at any one of the animal care centers of NYC shelters in each borough. You will not receive a violation for dropping off an illegal animal, but in this case, the New York department just went to the absolute extreme on the first try. No warning shot, no nothing. Like, I find it so weird that I can go outside right now. I can feed the 3 to 5 squirrels that I have probably running around in my backyard as we speak. I can just do whatever I want, feed them, play with them outside, but the moment that one of them steps foot inside my house, the FBI, or in this case the DEC, shows up, guns blazing, and holds me hostage for 5 hours. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, why couldn't they just ask the pets to be rehomed, take them to a wildlife rehabilitation area or something? Why was the first response to euthanize them immediately? According to the official response from the Environmental Conservation Department, they said that following multiple reports from the public about the potentially unsafe housing of wildlife that could carry rabies and the illegal keeping of wildlife as pets, DEC conducted an investigation. The department said in the statement this Thursday, DEC's investigation will be ongoing and additional information will be provided as it becomes available. In a different statement, the DEC also mentioned that the squirrel was euthanized to test for rabies after it bit someone involved with the investigation. The raccoon was also euthanized to test for rabies, the department said. So according to the investigation, during the raid, one of the officers got bitten by Peanut, which is the reason they said that they had to euthanize him, but they also mentioned that they captured and euthanized Fred the raccoon, which there weren't any reports of Fred biting anyone, which makes the whole sacrificing for rabies story kind of just hard to believe. Because, you know, you can get shots for rabies. You don't have to sacrifice the animals or just, I don't know, not raid the house in the first place. I'm just saying that there was a bunch of options laid out and they chose the absolute worst one. They went with, hey, let's go kill the squirrel. And you know, apart from the emotional damage that they caused to the family, this also affects their non-profit animal rescue because Peanut was the face of the organization. The only reason they were able to make the animal sanctuary in the first place and have so many animals in there is because Peanut was the one that went viral on social media. They were the ones making cute videos with Peanut, and Peanut was obviously the face of it all. So the fact that Peanut's no longer in the picture really hurts their ability to keep generating income and keep supporting the sanctuary. They did start a GoFundMe to help with the legal fees because they believed that it was absolutely excessive and unnecessary with the way that the DEC handled the situation. There's plenty of options available, like I mentioned, but hey, they decided to go with the absolute worst one right off the bat. And I also understand that there's the argument that technically they shouldn't have had a rescued squirrel as a pet for over a long period of time in the first place. If they knew it was illegal to keep them, why did they do it? But again, there was probably way better options to handle the situation, like rehoming or doing something other than just like, bro, let's just exterminate the thing. I don't know. That's just me. But man, yeah, that's all I really wanted to talk about with you guys, so thank you guys for watching.